Rising from the Ashes to School of the Masses. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 123 of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. Yes, numbers. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my left is Scholar Tarek.
Hello, fool. Do you remember last week how happy and, best term, enthusiastic I was for where WWE could possibly have been going?
Yes, sir.
This week just was the complete opposite. It just took all that happiness that I had last week and just flushed it down the toilet.
Which really surprised me, considering that looking back, this wasn't a bad Raw in my eyes. But we'll get to that. But first, we got some ground to cover in this week's Backstage News.
Indeed, let's go ahead and peek behind the curtains and check in on a little... Brian's not here. Backstage News. Don't do it. Brian's not here.
Yes.
We have an opportunity to not hear the meh.
Yes, you were right. Brian, you're on assignment this week. You have no one to blame but yourself.
I love that, last week we talked about how we were trying to be a little more elaborate with these Backstage News intros. And no, this one, we're just going to go straight forward.
Yeah, we're breaking new ground in removing the meh.
Oh, not even just... Yeah, and the meh as well.
And the meh. But actually, I'm kind of glad that he's not here this week for one specific reason.
This is going to be interesting.
It's time again to talk about the New Japan G1 Climax.
Oh, you should have been happy that I'm not here for this one. Reaching them climax again? It's Climax 11, correct?
This is actually the 26th G1 Climax.
Why would... Oh, Wrestle Kingdom 10. I'm
Yes.
thinking of something else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I only get climaxes jokes from one side.
And I'm me and my dirty masturbation mind.
It would have been way worse if Brian were here. Anyway, specifically about the G1 Climax is all of their competitors for both A Block and B Block have just been announced.
Did they?
Yes. And it looks actually very interesting. Let me just pull it up here. Yes. In Block A, we have Bad Luck Fale, Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, Satoshi Kojima, Togi Makabe, Naomichi Marufuji, who I believe is on loan from Pro Wrestling Noah. We've got Kazuchika Okada, Rainmaker, of course, Sanada from Los Ingobernables, Tanahashi, and Tama Tonga. All those guys are in Block A. In Block B, we've got Michael Elgin from Ring of Honor. We've got Evil.
We've
got Mr. Headbutt himself, Tomoaki Hanma. We've got Tetsuya Naito. We've got Katsuhiko Nakajima, also from Pro Wrestling Noah. I don't know too much about him. We got Yuji Nagata. We've got my boy, Kenny Omega. And we've got Shibata. We've got DVD Phil. And we've got Yoshihashi.
DVD Phil's not going to go anywhere, sadly.
I don't know. He made a pretty decent showing for himself last year.
You never know.
He's like Santino, except he wins.
Santino won a few matches.
Yeah, but not when he was a heel.
But when it comes to Block B, I see Kenny Omega. I'm putting predictions in now. For Block B, I'm going to go with Omega.
Considering Okada and Tanahashi are both in the same block together, yeah, looking at Block B, I really want Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega's got a legit shot now. He's like a major heel now, and I love it.
All right, let's look at Block A again. Let's see.
Block A. In my eyes, it could go either way between Okada and Tanahashi. In my eyes,
I'm gonna go Okada.
Yeah, considering lately they've been putting over Okada as like because again, unlike WWE, when they pass the torch, they really do pass the torch.
Pass the torch, yes.
Pass the torch.
I caught that.
Thuffer and Thuckatash.
Don't do that again. Roman Reigns can't do it, and neither can you.
Not even Sylvester?
Sylvester is an exception because, he made up the day... Well, he didn't make it up. You know what I mean. The animators who came up with Sylvester came out with that one.
Take back the Succotash. Make that a hashtag. But anyway, you see where I'm going with this.
Yes, tunes for Succotash.
Tunes for Succotash. Hashtag. But more importantly, Omega for G1 Climax winner.
Wait, what did you... Wait, who? Who are you picking for Climax winner?
Kenny Omega. Did I say Okada?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. They both begin in
At least I think you did.
Whatever. Omega's my boy.
For the whole pie, let's see. You know what? I'm just going to do things a little interesting and choose against you, and I'm going to pick Okada.
You know what? That's probably the more predictable pick, honestly.
And I like... and knowing how professional wrestling is getting most of the time nowadays, predictability, the predictable choice is normally the right choice. Normally.
Well, we'll see. We've been wrong before.
Yes.
But speaking of my boy Kenny Omega...
Yes?
Are you familiar with a thing called Community Effort Orlando?
Community Effort? It sounds familiar. Try and ring my bells.
It is... ring my bell. It is a major fighting game tournament out in Florida.
No, it doesn't. The name sounds familiar. You probably mentioned it before.
Well, you probably heard me mention it lately because, as you may have heard, Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods have been having a bit of a rivalry lately.
Oh, geez.
And they finally met at Community Effort Orlando, playing in a 1-to-5 wins exhibition match on Street Fighter V.
Who won?
I don't think I want to spoil it for you, but it's a clash for the ages.
Alright, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave people wanting to see it happen.
If I remember, I will try and leave the link to the fights in the description of this video. If you're into Street Fighter or fighting games, or even just the New Day or the Bullet Club or the Elite or any of this, this is must-see viewing. This is like, in my world, I love wrestling and I also love fighting games, so this was like, hi chocolate, meet peanut butter, you're Officer Reese's. What's going on here? Family Guy
love
jokes.
Love the analogy there.
Yes, but really, if you like any of that stuff at all, it's fun enough just to hear the trash talk. Plus, at another point, the tournament organizer, who is a big wrestling fan, came out to John Cena's music, attempted to give Kenny Omega an attitude adjustment. Kenny Omega just hops off his shoulders and gives him a super kick right in the mush.
Good.
Yeah,
it's like, you are not John Cena.
Yeah, and if you're into wrestling at all and you do also like fighting games, CEO is entirely wrestling themed. Like, instead of trophies, they give out championship belts. The top 8s for the tournaments, they have them all come out down a ramp into a wrestling ring to music and all. It's a great tournament. I love it.
Jesus, that is so elaborate. Now I gotta look into this.
Yeah, you gotta see this. I'll actually probably see if I can pull it up after the show. It's great.
Awesome.
So anyway, that's CEO. That's my boy Kenny Omega.
And that's the G1 Climax.
And that's a G1 Climax for now.
You've reached your climax for tonight with the G1 Climax. Moving on.
Yes. Oh, by the way, one other note. Apparently the last night of the G1 Climax has already been sold out. I
am not surprised. What is it?
It is all during this course of the summer. I believe it's in this all ends the beginning or middle of August.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. Again, it's great. I'll probably tell you guys all about it, and there's going to be weekly G1 Climax reports again.
And you're going to hear a lot more Climax jokes.
I know.
Throughout the month. You're looking forward to it.
I'm not saying anything more. I'm not going to feed into your
the grin on your face.
I'm not buying into it.
Sure you are.
No.
Sure you're not. Come on, join the climax. Reach the party.
Let's talk about something else, please.
Okay.
Because as of the day of this recording, today we're also celebrating Terry Funk's 72nd birthday.
Good God.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
Talk about a living legend. Yikes. I love Terry Funk, personally.
I love Terry Funk.
Except now you can't say he's middle-aged and crazy anymore.
He's just old and crazy.
Yes. Now he's just Terry Funk. What more can you say about him? Still, I'm just glad he's still hanging with us. I'm still glad he's He's serving as the living legend that he is.
And giving Dean Ambrose a chainsaw.
Which he never got the chance to use.
And to the surprise of no one.
I don't know. I say if he actually got that running, he would actually beat Brock Lesnar. Or killed him. But whatever.
Now I can use the proper term, Dana Brooke. Timber!
Except now I actually want to see... You know what spot I want to see? I want to see Dean Ambrose actually take out the chainsaw, rev it up, and have it like gimmicked so that by the time he actually tries to hit Brock Lesnar with it, like right in the gut, it just sort of like sparks and it doesn't actually do anything to him. Brock Lesnar just looks around down at him like,
yeah, that's
punch.
not dangerous at all.
Nah.
Like I said, if they were ever going to use the chainsaw,
not for Brock Lesnar.
If they were ever going to use the chainsaw on WWE television, Dean Ambrose would have lifted it up, about to hit Brock Lesnar, who's like resting on the announce table. He moves out of the way just in time, and Dean Ambrose just slices a bit of the announce table. That's the only way I could have seen it work.
But that's why it'd be gimmicked. So it would just like do like some crazy sparks or effect or something like that. Kind of like how Dean Ambrose back in the day when he was still John Moxley got like the electric saw to the face that was a completely flat blade, but just like looked really good.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. Yes, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it.
Let's get all comic booky with this crap. Let's do it.
That's not reality enough.
Reality's overrated. That's why I watch wrestling. So meh. But speaking of which, one other little factoid for the week. We also got the announcement, actually just a matter of hours before this recording, that The Rock is getting a star on the Walk of Fame.
The most electrifying man in all of entertainment is getting once again immortalized.
Yeah, and I thought this was really a great thing. I was like,
oh, it's awesome.
I was like, why didn't this happen earlier? But then I look at about all the sheer names that are being inducted with all this. Like, granted, some of these people definitely deserve it. Like, okay, Selena, Ice-T, okay, sure.
Wait, scroll back up.
Yeah?
It's Ice Cube, not Ice-T.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not down with the rap music.
Stop it.
Ice something or other. Ice Baby. I hope not.
Not Vin Diesel for the Triple X sequel.
Oh, please not.
Don't worry, I didn't see that garbage
either.
either.
Let's see. Some of these names. Who is Gustavo Dudamel?
Name does not ring. George A. Romero?
Wait, I didn't even look at this entire list.
Ryan Reynolds, Brett Ratner, George A. Romero, Mark Ruffalo, Rita Wilson, Chris Pratt, The Rock, Jason Bateman, Amy Adams, and Goldie Hawn. Who's Goldie Hawn?
You don't know who Goldie Hawn is?
I'm terrible with names. If you show me a picture of her or him...
She was a TV actress. No, she's definitely a she. Wait, Elvis Duran is going on?
That's not surprising.
Okay. Alright, that sure is a thing. And I don't know who Andre Browner is.
Show me a picture of Goldie Hawn, because I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, we'll look her up later, but she's done a lot of TV and stuff.
Okay.
And a couple movies. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, The Rock is going on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which I'm actually surprised he hasn't been there yet.
Actually, with how big he's been getting recently, I think this is a perfect time for him, really.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because I don't see him getting on the Walk of Fame from the Tooth Fairy.
Honestly, I feel like to be fair, I think the Tooth Fairy is one of those movies that people just reference just to show how crazy that his movie career has gone. No one really seriously watches the Tooth Fairy anymore. Have you seen the Tooth Fairy?
Long time ago.
Have you really?
Yes.
Any good at all?
No! No, it's not. It's garbage.
Hey, I had to ask.
Planet 51 was better.
What? I don't know what that is.
The movie Planet. It was The Rock's first animated movie where he plays an astronaut named what's Chuck something.
I didn't even know this existed.
It was pretty much. It's an alien planet set in the 50s, or their setting is the 50s, and The Rock shows up. It's pretty much reverse E.T. and the human is E.T. Except it's The Rock.
Huh.
Playing a white guy.
Huh. You know, I think we ought to do some sort of a game with all this. Just run down The Rock's IMDb page and just watch all of his movies.
This should be
Last Man Standing.
We should just do like a scholar's riff.
We should do that
on most of The Rock's movies and Hulk Hogan movies, and let's see, The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You know what?
The Marine movies.
You hear that? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? I think we've got a new idea right in the works. It's blossoming right now. We should make this happen.
God, I remember watching Planet 51. I'm just like, this isn't a very good movie, but I'm kind of having fun watching this. Because they had this, NASA has this robot probe that's supposed to take pictures of the planet that it's supposed to be on, and it's named Rover, and it acts like a dog. And The Rock, when it finally finds The Rock again, he's like, "Oh, Rover, it's great to see you." He's a probe. We used to take pictures of your planet. Hey, a planet full of aliens? And all you took were pictures of rocks? Bad boy. Bad boy. It is a ridiculous movie. It's so much fun,
It sounds
though.
ridiculous.
John Cleese is a crazy scientist that thinks he's wanting to turn all the citizens into zombies.
Do you have this movie, sir?
No, I don't have this movie, but I could find it.
I was gonna say this would make like ideal viewing if we could all get together and watch this for the inaugural episode.
If we find it at Best Buy, it's gonna be like $5. It's not a very good movie.
To the clearance rack.
It's funny, just for how stupid it is.
Hey, maybe it's worth a shot then. I don't know. But anyway, speaking of funny and stupid, that's all the backstage news I got. So let's transition right into Monday Night Raw.
Oh, let's talk about Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, yes, it was a pretty good show for the first 2 hours, and then that third hour came where it lost me.
Well, then again, it's Monday Night Raw. Not every single little bit is going to be absolutely captivating, and let's face it, it's a long show. It's hard to
It's a long show,
interest,
and
even when it's good, which it was.
What I can really say about this Raw is it meant absolutely nothing.
Well,
it really didn't.
I wouldn't go quite that far, because there were a couple little things that I did take notice of. Specifically, right at the top of the show, where they addressed the big elephant in the room, they just had to talk about Seth Rollins had to talk about Roman Reigns.
And what I was hoping that they would do, that I talked about in full detail last week, how I would book this, gone completely out the window. I loved that idea that I made up last week, but of course, no, it makes me reach to a point where I just gotta stop making creative ideas, just because it could work. But knowing how WWE works, it's just they won't do anything creative.
Well, I think if you put so much hope into just one specific outcome, then yeah, I think that you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
It's just mind-boggling that they're wanting to keep Roman Reigns in this title match. Oh, you broke a big rule in WWE. Your punishment? You're getting a title match when you get back.
Well, that's not entirely true.
It is. He lost. His punishment was to have the title taken off him. Well, but that's it. And now he's like, "Oh, you did your thing. You're a bad boy, but don't worry. When you get back, you're getting a title match."
Yeah, but there's a couple other aspects to this that have been going around that I really wasn't aware of before. The first of that is when someone on the roster is suspended, they do not get paid for that.
No, they don't.
No. They're just they're still collecting maybe royalties from merch sales, but that's about it.
Yep, that's right.
They're still taking a pay cut, which I don't know. I don't know the exact number of how much money Roman Reigns is losing on this thing, but it's easily in six figures. So it's not a minor hit here, not even for him.
And I believe what I read, he got a fine for $100,000.
Yeah, I heard that there was I heard on the very unconfirmed rumors. don't take this as absolute gospel news and fact, but there's a rumor going around they got busted for weed, which is a fine, and for some other drug which warrants a suspension. Apparently, weed does not give you a suspension; it just gives you a fine.
It's something that began. I actually read this earlier today.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
I remember it begins with an S. That's all I remember.
Yes,
and that Roman, like some of the top ups, that's not Vince McMahon, got so upset with Roman Reigns that he had to, like the day he was sent home, he had to apologize to the entire roster.
Which, yes, and that's the other point I was going to make. So, again, whether you not think that's warranted or not, it's not like he's just walking off scot-free and just walking right in the back into a title match like everything is forgiven.
In Vince McMahon's eyes, that's what's happening.
Oh.
Apparently, from what I've been reading, the storyline that Vince wants to push when Reigns comes back is a sympathy storyline. They're trying to get the fans to be sympathetic to the fact that he had to hit rock bottom after losing the title.
That's one way they could go with it. But, see, I'm not necessarily convinced of that yet, just because of all the good work that Dean Ambrose and company are putting in right now. So that to me, again...
I wish that would... I want to go with you on that one, because I want Dean Ambrose to not be a transitional champion. I want him to thrive in the same league as where Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns is right now.
Well, he's not, except he's not a transitional champion.
I hope he won't.
He's already not. I mean, if anything, Seth Rollins was a transitional champion for that whole 2 minutes. It's been over a week now. This is not a transitional championship by any means. This is a legit title match. This is a legit title opportunity, reign, whatever you want to call it. There's nothing transitional about this. Plus, not to mention, this is leading into a major feud between all the members of the Shield. Something that people have been clamoring for a very long time now.
And this is the wrong pay-per-view to do it. I'm going to stick by it. This deserves to be a SummerSlam. This deserves to be a WrestleMania main event. This does not deserve to be on a B event like Background. Battleground.
Which is why this is not going to be the end of the feud. I guarantee it.
It may not be the end, but I still, even if it's just it's their first match, and we're gonna get more, most definitely. But for their first match, I feel like even all their matches have to be, well, not all their matches, but their first initial match, their very first time since their breakup, has to be at an event as one of the top 4.
It's worthwhile. This feud is certainly deserving of that, but in my eyes, there's a very big distinction between something it's deserving of and some place where you can put it so you can actually make what would normally be like a grade Q show, and make it something worth watching. SummerSlam to me is like, we know that there's going to be tons of blow-off matches. There's going to be tons of high-profile matches. From a strictly business perspective, I see what they're doing with this, where they give people a reason to watch Battleground, which, let's face it, for me personally, is 9 times out of 10 just a very skippable pay-per-view. Now it's not. And number 2, then they'll just do it all over again. They can do some sort of inconclusive finish for this one, while still showing off, yeah, these guys are still great, blah, blah, blah. And then for SummerSlam, I don't know, put them in a Hell in a Cell or something.
I just feel like, even from what happened this past Raw, the whole title feud is going to be focused on the fact that Roman Reigns is gone. The main focus of this feud is going to be Roman Reigns. It's not going to be about the title match.
Well, I'm not entirely convinced of that. Mostly because, number one, this week, it was pretty much the big news of the week, so they had to address it in somehow, or else it would be like a Poochie effect, where everyone was just going to be looking at the ring going, where's Roman? So they had to bring it up or address it somehow. But as soon as they did, if you notice, they jumped right into, oh, hey, here's AJ Styles, I want the title. Oh, here's John Cena, I want the title too. You can't have the triple threat. It's only Shield only.
For me, this whole John Cena and AJ Styles bit and their matches, we all knew they weren't going to be put in this match.
True, but we also got some fairly decent matches out of them. Plus, look who they beat.
They weren't as great of matches as they should have been built. Of course, they're probably saving for the better ones for a pay-per-view, but...
And that's it. You're talking about Monday Night Raw. Most of the time, you're not going to get the same level of performance out of an average episode of Monday Night Raw. But for what it was, I thought it was fine.
It was just a complete waste of time for me.
Yeah. You didn't get any enjoyment out of any of that?
No, I didn't. Because in the end, I know in the end what was the point, and the fact that they weren't on their top game because it was, like we said, it was a Monday Night Raws. So it just wasn't working for me.
To me, I can still get the occasional bit of enjoyment out of a McDonald's cheeseburger. I don't have to have T-bone steaks every night.
I don't like T-bone steaks, so I can't agree to that.
Okay, so maybe that wasn't the best analogy to use then, but I hope you see what I'm getting at.
I see where you're coming from, but
it was suitable in the short term. It's not going to last forever. Not with the guys this talented.
If this was a hamburger from McDonald's, it was a hamburger from McDonald's that was made 3 days ago.
In other words, every single McDonald's cheeseburger ever made.
That's not true. I've seen freshly made hamburgers served to me. So
yeah. Well, I've had some rough nights in college. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, moving on. We got a big return this week. The return of Kane! I was thinking, Tarek must be enjoying this right now.
To the shock of you and Brian, when I talked to him about this earlier today, I actually wasn't happy about this.
Really? Explain how.
Because it's once again like, oh, good. It's good. It's fun seeing Corporate Kane trying to talk to Stephanie about being GM. And then The Miz showed up and was like, oh, good, Miz is back. I want to see him and Cesaro go back at it again because their feud was put on hold because Miz was doing a movie and Cesaro was putting the Money in the Bank. So come on, let's get right to it. And then Kane put the clause that even WWE forgot, the whole champion, if the champion doesn't defend in 30 days, he would vacate the title. Something that they forgot because lots of champions in the past couple years haven't defended the title in over a month and they still had the belt. Mm-hmm. Nikki Bella. And it's like, oh, your first match is going to be an Intercontinental title match against a mystery opponent. For movie terms, it's a cliffhanger. I'm like, please let it be Cesaro. Please let it be Cesaro. And I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be Kane.
I was going to say, it was obvious to me right from the start. Like, okay, they're going to bring Kane back. And
it's like, oh, Demon Kane. And it's, once again, it was the Roman, it's what we talked about in with the title match. It wasn't very good It wasn't a very good storytelling. I knew the outcome right away.
But even so, you weren't happy to see Kane?
I'm always happy I love Kane. But it's now reached the point where Kane is no longer needed. If Kane needs to be, at least Glenn Jacobs needs to be a backstage guy now. There's nothing left for the Kane character to do.
So I guess you actually might have just answered my Scholar's Quick Talk question. Is Kane being phased out into a part-time role or phased out into retirement?
Yes, and I really hope so because, hell, did you hear the crowd in this match? They were dead for this. They've reached the point where it's like, Kane's here fighting for the Intercontinental title match. Who cares? I didn't like the crowd this past week. Where were they? In Tampa? I believe they were. They were in Tampa.
They were in Tampa because that's how Xavier Woods was able to go to CEO when he did. Mm-hmm. That explains everything.
And so it's just, this led to the third hour that made the Raw show very, very. That took the first 2 hours that were actually pretty decent, and just like, all right, it's over now. So it wasn't even a very good match. Maurice had to sell an injury to have Miz lose by a countout, similar to what they did with Rusev earlier in the night when he faced Titus O'Neil, which a lot of people have pointed out what JBL said. He's one step closer to getting the title match he's always wanted, that he had 8 days ago. God, the Raw commentary team is just sad.
Yeah, then again, they're just being fed lines by Vince, so that.
But yeah, and now it was like, oh good, let's give Cesaro a nice title match again and actually give him the title. No, let's not do that. I'm like, great, now they're wasting Cesaro. What are they going to do with him? Tag him with Apollo Crews to face Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus. And the main focus of that match was Alberto Del Rio and Sheamus going against each other. And Del Rio's tag was a slap to Sheamus' face, and then he kicked him in the head and left.
Which tells me that they're not going to keep Cesaro there. This isn't over yet. I'm convinced of that. It's not over yet.
What's not over?
What they're going to be setting up for Battleground with the Intercontinental title, and especially more so to SummerSlam.
What are they doing with the Intercontinental title that you see and I don't?
I'm not seeing anything yet. I'm saying there's still plenty of time for stuff to be set up. Because really, it's just... This, to me, just jumps out at me as just filler for an episode of Monday Night Raw.
This whole thing
setting up
filler.
Other things for stuff to happen next week and the week after and Battleground and whatever.
It's the Great Divide.
The story is not over.
This episode of Raw was the Great Divide. It was the Painted Lady. If any of our listeners are Avatar fans, good for you.
Dude, spoilers.
But yeah, it was this Raw, all in all, was just a complete waste of time.
I don't know. There were still some enjoyable nuggets in there. Specifically, the other one I wanted to at least address. The continuation of the New Day Wyatt storyline. And it turns out, we were right. The whole bit with Xavier Woods acting hesitant and freaked out, they called attention to that, or Bray did. Like, Xavier, I see you there. Like, okay.
I guess it was the crowd who took me out of this segment, because it's once again what I was saying the last week. It's the New Day, all in all, making fun of the Wyatts, pretty much being the heels. It's like, oh, they're... with Kofi Kingston wearing the fake butt. The fake butt for Eric Rowan, and making fun of the way they smell, or their breath smells. It was like, yeah, you guys, New Day, making fun of the Wyatt family, be a star.
But then again, I also saw that as more like a Spider-Man treatment, where you've got these guys who are being portrayed as villains and bad guys, and now you're just sort of like standing up to them and mocking them in the right back. Like, I see this as more of like a war of words than anything else. Like, the New Day are not, with the exception of Xavier Woods, aren't really freaked out by their like follow the buzzard shenanigans, and the Wyatts aren't really fazed by their mockery. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna break you one of these days. May not be today, may not have to be tomorrow. We're gonna break you.
And the crowd,
and the New Day are like, I'm gonna break you. Whatever, power, positivity, booty. You are booty.
And I guess it was just the fans took me out of this segment. I didn't like the fans' interaction with this. They were just completely crapping all over Bray Wyatt.
Then again, I think that was just a really bad crowd.
It was a good segment, but the crowd took me out of it.
And not me. Honestly, especially after the last week, I'm hooked in. I love Xavier Woods. I love the New Day. I can't wait to see what they do next with this. Because again, the story's not over.
So what do you think? They're going to do a 6-man... I think we talked about this last week, actually. 6-man tag into Battleground?
I'm thinking they might do that.
Or tag team titles. That's what the thing. I guess that was a scholar's quick talk here.
I'm not sure if this is a long shot or not, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to say tag team titles. Because I would love to see the Wyatts, or at least... I was about to say Harper and Rowan. Now I was going to say Harper and Strowman. Okay, Strowman and Rowan.
There you go.
Okay, I got that right. The two sheep guys. There we go. Bring out the sheeps.
Bring on the wool.
Bring on the wool.
No.
That was going somewhere.
I can't imagine Strowman and Rowan all of a sudden, Happy Halloween, and they're wearing a sheep costume with fake wool and all that. Happy Halloween.
Dirt!
More, instead of dirt, it was more like, don't! Wow, that was terrible.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Alright.
But
oh, God.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, really... Obviously, this Raw wasn't the best, but there were still some nuggets to enjoy. But you know what? We also want to know what you think. What you think of this past week in Monday Night Raw? Did you fall asleep? Did you like some things about it? Did you not? Or was there a particular interesting thing you saw in the news that we missed? Drop us a line. Give us a little poke. Say, hey, you missed this, you idiots.
You stupid idiot.
Yeah, you stupid idiots. Drink it in, man. But
I liked that Sami Zayn Kevin Owens bit.
I did too. That
was actually the best moment that happened on Raw.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually surprised we didn't talk about it very much. But yeah, that was. I can't wait. They made it perfectly. Like, yeah, we built the draft is coming. We got to end this once and for all. Even though they ended it before with Owens went over Zayn clean and saying I'm better than Owens. Or I'm better than Zayn.
Oh, please. They're destined to do this forever. It's just a matter of what it looks like.
Oh, yeah.
But again, we'll get to that probably next week. But again, as always, we also want to know what you think. So, as always, drop us a little line on this video. Leave us a comment. Subscribe if you want to see more. Or if you just like what you hear, give us a little thumbs up. Give us a like. Of course, you can also look for us on our Facebook page. Just run a little search for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. And... as always, you can also follow us on our Twitters. You can follow us on our main Twitter account at ScholarsOW, and you can also find us on our personal Twitters where we like to live tweet Monday Night Raws, we like to live tweet pay-per-views, New Japan shows, or at least I do. Join the conversation, it's a ton of fun. Fool, where can they reach you at?
You can reach me at The Avataric.
And I'm Robbie Rage. All one word, no apostrophe, of course. And to our dear friend Brian, who's on assignment, you can reach him at Atomic Beanpole.
No. Atomic Beanpole!
Oh, that's a new thing now?
He's been doing it the last few times we've been closing out the show.
Wow, I need to pay more attention to my Twitter machines.
You need to pay attention to how he announces his Twitter name.
I'm sorry, what are we doing?
His Twitter account?
Who are you?
The Avataric.
And I'm Robbie Rage. And you also know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
Get back soon, Brian. We miss you.
Filler.